So, what is Lemonade doing? What problem are you solving?
So, if anyone here ever tried to get insured, you all know it's not a fun experience. This is one of the most hated industries in the world, and we actually set out to change that and to create an insurance brand that is loved, and create an amazing experience around buying insurance. Not only simple and low cost, but also really kind of delightful in a way.
And who's underwriting the premium?
It's us. We're a full stack carrier. We built the entire company.
If the shit hits the fan, Lemonade is paying.
Well, yeah, one of the funny things that you learn about insurance, by the way, I didn't know anything about insurance a few years ago. So this
when did you found the company?
3 years ago.
3 years ago?
Yeah, yeah. So one of the things you learn about insurance is that actually insurance companies have insurance companies insuring them.
Reinsurance, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously you have reinsurers and they're taking part of that kind of, risk.
Like Zurich Re.
Like Zurich Re and others, yeah.
Okay, so if you look at your customers, I mean, they're not waking up one day and say, I hate the insurance industry, I'm going to Lemonade. How do you find your customers? I mean, there are a lot of companies in Israel like Iron Source, they're helping app publishers to get installs. There's a CPI prices out there. How did you become already so big in such a short time?
Cool. So actually, when you think about it, people that already have insurance, they don't wake up and say, hey, I want to change my insurance. As you said, they do hate their insurance, and they hate it especially if they ever tried engaging with their insurance company. But more than 90% of our users are actually first-time buyers of insurance, which is very interesting. They're young. 75% of our users are below 35.
Really?
So we're going after the young professional generation, what we call Henrys, the high-earning, not rich yet generation. And these people, most of them don't have insurance when they come to us. So instead of waiting a few years and kind of procrastinating this, experience, which usually involves finding a broker or an agent, getting a bunch of papers signed and faxed and all kinds of things. I mean, who has a fax machine today? I think most people don't even know how that looks, right? So
do you use the camera of the smartphone to...
You don't have to. You just communicate with the bot. We have an amazing experience. So I'm not sure we said that, but Lemonade is a direct-to-consumer brand, which means that insurance traditionally is sold through agents or brokers. So you have the middleman,
well, in England we have direct line, which goes, I think, through call centers, but you bring it to the next level.
So call center is still an agent. You do it through the phone, but you still have to speak to a human, right, in the process. And then, when you speak to them, they will communicate with you, and then at some point you'll get some paper.
And you have robots.
So we have bots, and we have AI, and that's driving the entire experience of onboarding and also, managing your policy and up to filing claims. So we just, we announced that in 2017, about 30% of our claims were paid in under 3 seconds, which is pretty phenomenal if you think about it. In 3 seconds, yeah, that's not a mistake.
And what insurance, okay, let's talk about what type of insurances, because I just had over the New Year's period in my house in Switzerland, trees falling on it. I mean, I haven't even started repairing it. I mean, I get the money probably next year.
Yeah. First, so congratulations for having a house in Switzerland and having a tree fall on it. But
yeah, I'm happy. I'm hugging the tree every day.
Yeah.
But tell me, what type of insurance is it? Car insurance, life insurance?
Yeah. So we're homeowners insurance at this point. Homeowners, renters, condo insurance. That's the first insurance product that we released to market. We've obviously built the company to be what's called a P&C company, which means property and casualty. It's everything that's not life or health or things like that. So we started with renters insurance. That's our biggest market. And to your question, obviously there are claims. I said that 30% of the claims are handled by bots instantly. Obviously, the other 70% are claims that are more complex, like the one you mentioned, right? So in these cases, we actually go the full length and
And you do
send
this
people
out of
to your home
Lemonade, this whole
and fix
claim
the problem.
processing? But you do this as Lemonade,
We
or you
do that
outsource
as
it to
Lemonade.
another
We
company?
outsource some of the repair services. Of course, we don't have carpenters and plumbers working for us. But still, that entire process is mostly automated and generated by the bot. It's all driven by the bot. So when you report the claim, you just use your app, you take pictures of the damage, you say what happened, and most of the time, it will just be over within a few days. Where in traditional insurance companies take sometimes even months to handle claims.
So you are like a normal insurance companies on steroids because you have automated the whole process. You made it customer friendly. You pay out very quickly.
One point about that, I wouldn't say that we're like normal insurance companies because we have something very, very different in the kind of the core of the company. So insurance companies, if you think about it, the reason that people hate them is because they don't like to pay, right? When you come to them, they like to take your money.
There's a bit of a conflict of interest, no?
There's a conflict, exactly. There's a conflict of interest. And the conflict of interest is generated because when you pay the insurance company, it's that thousands of people and millions of people pay the insurance company, they pay that to a large pool. And at some point when people start claiming, that what remains in that pool after paying all the claims is their revenues, right? It's that's their profit.
Yeah.
So there's the conflict for you, right? They want to pay less, so there's more left by the end of the year. What we did was we actually we flipped the business model on its head, and we said, okay, instead of taking everybody's money and paying claims and getting the revenues out of the remaining funds, let's do that opposite, and let's take the money first. So we'll take a flat fee of about 20% first from the payments, and then the remaining approximately 80% will go out of the company in one of either ways. So we'll pay claims, we'll pay expenses, we'll pay taxes, and then whenever there's money left, we'll just donate that to charity on behalf of the customers. As a Lemonade customer, you can, when you onboard the app, it will ask you if you want to choose, you have to choose a charity, and when you choose it, that money of yours that remains at the end of the year will go to that charity. And we actually donated this year for the first time some dramatic donation to charities. We built a house for a poor family in South America, and we built a water well in Africa, and a bunch of other things.
Wow, okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting. So if you look at the sign-ups, and we talked about this earlier, why people sign up, do you spend a lot of money on installs, or is it all organic right now?
So first, it's not only an app, it's a web experience. It also supports desktop and mobile and whatnot. I mean, obviously, you have to do, in our age, you have to do acquisition, and you have to use all means that available at your disposal. I do want to say that we are indexed as about 70% over the average in insurance in the insurance industry for social engagement, and also social social acquisition, I should say. So
what is the number one social product or feature you have which gives you that buzz?
So people don't like to talk about insurance, right? It's not a sexy thing. But if you just bought something and you're going to donate that money to someone and do good, that you're going to talk about that. Or if you just filed a claim and it was paid to you before you even managed to understand what was going on, the money is in your bank account.
You want to share that.
You're excited. You want to share that.
Okay.
So that kind of great experience, people want to share, and they do.
So what's the insurance industry saying about your success? You're obviously turning the industry upside down. I guess either they can get jealous or they can try to buy you. I mean, have you got any pushback also from the regulatory side?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit how far it's going. You're now 3 years in. I don't know. I don't think you share revenue figures, or have you said anything?
No. Okay. So, we say a lot. So we have this thing about transparency, and we share a lot about our numbers publicly. What we did was this year we actually crossed the 100,000 insured home mark, which is very exciting for us. And just to say that we're not 3 years in market. We're 3 years. We started this idea.
When did you launch the
We're about
service?
a year and a half in market.
A year and a half.
Yeah. So that everything happened happened in the last year and a half, which
Why
is
would
pretty
you not
exciting.
go into car insurance, by the way? That's one of the big segments in Europe where all the price comparison companies are making hundreds and hundreds
You're
of
right.
millions.
You're right. So the price comparison companies are getting rich while insurers are getting poor. I don't think it's a great business for insurers today. There's a lot of competition. It's a price war. So we didn't think that we have any dramatic advantage in this market.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your investors. You have Cream de la Cream backing you. Yair Goldfinger, in the morning, I asked him the question how important investors are, and he said they're very important, especially if you want to go to America, raise early, and find the right investor, the right person, not the right fund.
Yep.
What's your recommendation? Have they helped you?
I think with Lemonade, I think I started a few companies before Lemonade, and I had boards, I had investors. I think this is the first time for me where I actually see investors work for the company, which is pretty phenomenal. We had amazing investors, and it goes beyond money. It's actually there's put aside the fact that we're all good friends. There's a lot of help, and when you go to a different market and you go against regulation, you go actually with regulation, but you work your way through that type of challenge. You got to have that type of partner with you, and having great investors is key. It really is.
And how global you want to be? I think at the moment you're operating in the American market.
Yes.
And interestingly, you didn't move. You're still in Israel, so for some it works.
Yeah. Well, we do have 2 offices. We have beautiful offices here in Sarona. And also our headquarters in New York, so in Soho, New York, which is pretty important for us. But I do want to say that we're now launched in 10 states in the US. We're licensed in about half of the nation, and we're going to gradually launch. But we don't have a single person in any other state than New York. So we have people in our head office. But unlike any other insurance company, we don't have any people on the ground. So we can launch, it's really scalable. Because we use bots, because we use this direct-to-consumer
How many employees you have?
Approach. Employees, we're about 70-something, 74.
So 74 employees, 100,000 customers, so it's
it's scaling, more than 100,000.
It's scaling quickly, yeah?
Yes, it's scaling quickly, yeah.
Well, any plans to operate in Europe? Because I need to change my insurance company.
So I'll look you up when we do. So we're actually going global. We haven't announced our next market yet, but it's going to be very exciting for a lot of countries in the near future.
So I think the last question we didn't cover is your inhibitors or your bottlenecks for growth. Is it regulation then?
I would say that the regulation is probably the first one. If you figured out, fundraising, which for us wasn't a big issue, but I guess that
Why was it not a big issue?
I guess that
because you're a serial entrepreneur.
I would say 2 things. First is that we have, I think, both Daniel, my partner, and I have a good track record behind us, so that helps. But I also think that investors don't see enough ambitious projects today. And when they do see something that has a potential to be a multi-billion-dollar company for centuries to come, I think that kind of raises interest dramatically.
So don't be modest. Go for the big opportunity.
I think so.
I think your investor SoftBank likes that a lot. No?
Yes, and I also think it's important for humanity. Yeah, we have to solve big problems.
We have to solve problems.
Yep.
We wanted to bring together the Israeli ecosystem with European and American corporates. That was our objective. Thanks to you.
Thank you very much.
Others, we managed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you.